And that's not me saying it. Okay, I inherited it. And I've had such wonderful folks that have worked, that I have worked for, that has made this happen. And when budgets are, and I can't even begin, we won't have enough hours in the day to tell you all the problems that Haywood County Schools has survived in the last 29 years. 2 floods, budget crisis, on and on and on. But there are several folks that have made this work. First one, Mr. Francis is here. Francis is the school board chairman. If this is important to you and your children, okay, don't ever forget how easy it would be with one little ink mark to go and get half what you got before. And that's not what happens. I have worked for some amazing administrators over my career, and all of them have told me in some fashion, from the very first to the one that I have now, Kevin, you're in charge of the band, you do the band, you tell me what you need from me. And if you think it's that way everywhere, you are confused. You are confused, because that's not that way everywhere. But I'm going to just kind of list them off, and some of them are here to be recognized. Mr. Starnes hired me, sadly passed away last year. Mr. Chandler, I talked to, and he gets his sadness, he couldn't be here, he had scheduled out of town. Up there in the corner is Mr. McDonald. Okay? He's my retirement buddy. This is not a bad thing. So, he passed the torch to Mr. Coppins, who is sitting right here in the secretary of life. I'm not sure Mr. Trentham is in the house. He said he wasn't sure if Mr. Trentham was principal after that. That's how it was. Miss Blackman, and I'm sure Ms. Heatherly will talk about it. Since her sadness, she had every intention of being here and found out this afternoon that her father fell in Greensboro and broke his hip. So they have surgery on him tomorrow. So I'm going to let Ms. Heatherly in, and she's going to introduce us to her.
Thank you very much. Ms. Blackman says first, she's very upset she couldn't be here tonight. So you give me instead, sorry. The only thing I did want to say before I introduce Dr. Nolte is there have been some wonderful things said tonight about Tim Wise, and all of them so true. And we have all been privileged to know him and to see what he has done for our band program. The only thing I want to say to you guys tonight is that while Tim Wise is leaving huge shoes to fill, the commitment to our band still comes from Texas School. We still want to have the strongest band in Western North Carolina or in the whole state. And we are going to work hard to make sure that we find someone who can work with Mr. Engel and continue the excellent job that Mr. Wise has done this year.
I got a call, and Kim already shared this. Got a call from Heather Blackman earlier today. She said my dad was falling, and she was obviously very, very worried about him. But she was also very disappointed. And she said, I was going to say a thank you to Tim Wise tonight. And I said, well, I'm going to be there, and I would love to do that. And she said, well, I was going to be brief. And she suggested that I do the same thing. Not to slack you, Mr. Wise, but I do just want to say, 3 thank yous and appreciations. First of all, from Tuscola, on Ms. Blackman's behalf and the Tuscola Mountaineers, we thank you for everything you've done for so many years. And just to have that official thank you, I think is important. Also, from Haywood County Schools and the Haywood County Board of Education, we realize strength and the longevity of strong band programs does not come accidentally. And we know that you have carried us over many years and helped us. And we really appreciate that as a school system. And when times get tough, it's really easy for us just to look at the media and everyone else who's asking us about cutting programs and say, well, we just believe in the whole child, and if we have to reduce something, we'll cut a little bit everywhere, but we're not cutting out band programs and other programs like that. They're very, very important. And then the last thing I want to do is pick up on something that Mr. Aldridge says, and I want to thank you as a band camp. You know, I'm sort of like you, I have to ask my wife sometimes, you know, so I asked Melanie, I said, how long were we band parents? And I think it was 6 years at Tuscola with our children. And, you know, we did band day and washed the cars and hauled the trash and got the stuff for the flea market and all that other kind of stuff. But I just want to thank you on behalf of the parents. Most parents they really just want one thing, and then if they get other stuff, it's perfect. They really want teachers who love their children, okay? And thank goodness, most of our teachers do, you know, the vast majority. But when you have teachers who not only love their children, but come to work early and stay late and teach them music, not only different forms of music that they might not otherwise hear, but teach them to play it in a very superior way. And that is evident through competitions and just listening. It's just amazing. And not many of us get that. This is a very special situation and a very special man, and he will have very big shoes to fill. And then we will work with Tuscola to make sure that happens to the best of our ability. But Tim Wise, I thank you for what you've done. You've been a great one. I thank you on behalf of my wife and all of the other band members.
I've shared this story many times. My plan was to be here 3 years. That was my great plan. Mr. Buckner called me and said, hey, you know, would you like to come down here to the mountains? Actually, I didn't hear that part. I heard North Carolina. I was so excited I got off the phone and said, Brett, I'm going to the coast. That's absolutely a true story. And then I came and my plan was to stay a year, 2 years, 3 max, go to grad school and get my real job. I didn't know what that meant. That was the plan in my head. 3 years became 4, became 5. Tuscola was gracious enough to work with me so I could stay here and still get my master's at Western with Dr. West and Mr. Buckner. And came back and I was like, well, and then, you know, I'm not going to lie. There was people who said, hey, why don't you come here? Why don't you think about this? Why don't you, I can offer you this? And I just kept looking at the grass isn't always green. And I said, enough, I was here. Next thing I know, 29 years. I have no regrets. I've loved every minute of it. You are fantastic. I look around the room at all these wonderful students, all the way from gray area over here. This is the section of, these are the sections of first-year seniors, and I want to thank you boys for not writing me off. I appreciate that. There were times I thought my 4-wheel car was going to end up at the top of the hill and get outside. To all the ones after that, and it's just, you know, I've seen so many tonight, and I'm like, oh, wow, and it is just wonderful, and I appreciate you so much. My family lived in Kentucky, so I left North Carolina so much I moved here, and I said, come, so they are here. And then, of course, most importantly, my wife of 20 years in June, and I laughed because I was never going to get married again unless someone walked into the band room. She literally walked into the band room. The been in the same house more than like 5 minutes at a time. So yes, some of you may see me a lot. But it has been a wonderful ride. I am so thankful to you. And then the last little part of my sermon is don't ever, ever, ever forget how important what these students do every day. I don't care about all that other stuff. I know that the English, I get it. All of those things are important. Of course they are. You must leave this where it needs to be. These students, and, you know, there's all kinds of research. We could talk about high SAT scores and all that stuff. First of all, I don't understand it. Second of all, I don't care. I don't care. Oh, and you can say, well, the bad students, were the band make them smarter? Or were the smart kids in band? I don't care about either. All I know is they're not dumber since they were in band. Trust me, I knew them as freshmen. They're not any dumber. They've gotten smarter, I promise you this. But what music does for them, you know, and music lets you get together with some people you don't even like and work together. Wouldn't it be a better place if everybody did it, man? Think about the world today. We can't talk about anything without screaming at each other. Yet these guys can come, I can listen to them all the way to rehearsal. I hate. They sit down and they make music together. And by the way, if you've never made music, you can't make it by yourself in a group. And you can't be arrogant and you can't be all about you. You have to give and take. And that's what music does. This is important. It's important. So keep going. Keep the band where it needs to be because it's important for us. And with that, our last piece, dance on number 2, I hope you enjoy.